I would be delighted to tell you about the Transforming Life After 50 initiative. We did attend the conference in Pasadena, and we came from that conference charged about revamping Roseville. We were going to have a completely boomer-driven project, such as a home delivery service, storytime volunteers, a boomer advisory group, and we were just ready to tackle this project. And we worked diligently, and we came to exhaust ourselves, and we found out through kind advice of Mr. Stephen Ristauer that we need to narrow our focus. So what we have done is we have completely revamped our volunteer program, created a whole new dynamic, and the programs that we are starting, such as our Storytime conductors, are just fabulously successful. Our volunteers are engaged. We have incredible infrastructure. We have incredible training, and this is actually giving us a look toward the future in that the programs that we do develop, we have all of this incredible framework in place, and we just have hopes of these many different types of programs that we are going to be doing.
You have engaged a number of high-skilled volunteers in the library in a way that you never have before. Can you give us a profile of a couple of them?
I would love to give you a profile of some of our higher level volunteers. And one of the things that we did learn from Transforming Life After 50, as well as the Get Involved initiative, in that we found out that we could ask a volunteer, what would you like to do for the library? And it was one of those moments, instead of, we're going to tell you that you're going to shelve a book, we are asking them what kind of skills and talents. So some of our volunteer positions that we do have: volunteer library coordinators, we have executive fundraisers, we have remote volunteers that do our graphic designs. We now have, even though it's a little outside of the volunteer box, is we now have a library foundation that actually supports, and of course they are volunteers, and we are just looking more, we're looking for coordinators for our adult literacy program, as well as tutors, future coordinators for our home delivery service, and now that we have the models in place to get these kind of, we call them the glamorous, sexy positions, and we are really seeing the rewards, and all because we actually are now asking people, what can you do? What do you like to do? What are your talents? What are your skills? And I'm just amazed at the outpouring of success that we're having.
It sounds like there isn't the same old kind of line drawn between staff, professional staff, and volunteers, but that folks are working side by side with each other and as a team. Can you talk about how that's transformed your library?
Stephen, you asked about the team of both staff and volunteers, and another one of the big moments that we had in transforming our volunteer program was that we had to transform our staff at the same time. And there are a few of us that we were the cheerleaders, we were the champions, we wanted to see this in place, and because we did, we assumed that all of the staff felt the same way. No, 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 no. And there were a lot of staff very resistant to a volunteer performing sort of a higher level library task. And I'm just going to pick on story time at the moment. And because it is a certain niche, and I have done story times, and I know I hold that dearly to my heart. And our library director was our biggest champion, and she in turn caused and actually turned some of those resistors into our champion just through her gift of persuasion, and that making them realize that it is their long-term benefit to help with this program, because in it frees them up for other interests. So now those storytellers that were a little resistant, now they are our most enthusiastic trainers, and we actually have quite a number of our boomer volunteer storytellers, and I just see them, and I get such a kick in knowing that staff involvement is so key and so critical to making your program work. And you have to really, and I know you've told this and told this, but we had to learn the hard way. We had to stumble, we had to fall, and we finally realized, yes, staff does count. So our staff are boomers by osmosis, and they become pretty much all things boomers. So it's just a wonderful thing to see.
And these volunteers have helped you to extend your library services and even your hours. I understand there was one program offered at a time the library wasn't even open through one of your community partners.
We do that. We are starting to offer even before hours and after hours programming. And there's a certain amount of staff that will be there, but then the volunteers, they come in and they actually will run some of the programs. And I think we're just starting to tap to scratch the surface of what the volunteers can actually do for us. And I know we have all of these ideas that are coming out for the future. And for us, as long as we're able to be a little creative and be extremely flexible and not have that initial knee-jerk reaction, oh no, we can't do that, libraries are not supposed to do that, and kind of taking that breath and saying, wait a moment, yeah, we really can do this now. And I like to see this enthusiasm just sort of generate, and it ripples throughout the staff. And I remember after one of the first training sessions with our volunteer storytime conductors, and the librarians were talking about them, and you could see the glow in their eyes. I mean, and I just kind of stood back.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you very much.